You didn't just stumble across this message tonight. This isn't random scrolling. It isn't the algorithm tossing another video into your feed. Something deeper pulled you here, like a thread tugging on the edges of your awareness, whispering that change is already breathing down your neck. You feel it, don't you? That subtle vibration humming beneath the surface of your ordinary thoughts, that quiet tremor inside your chest that says something is reorganizing itself in your field. It doesn't matter how heavy the day felt, how long the season of waiting has seemed, or how tangled your circumstances look. Right now, as these words flow into your awareness, your consciousness is aligning with coordinates in the quantum field you couldn't have mapped even if you tried. This moment is not coincidence, it is calibration. Think about how many choices, how many tiny synchronicities had to stack perfectly to deliver you here at this exact second. Every delay that annoyed you, every no that frustrated you, every twist in timing was actually the universe threading you into alignment with this transmission. You are hearing this because your shift has already begun. Here's the secret. Stuckness is not a dead end. It is pressure building before breakthrough. When you feel trapped, when nothing seems to move forward, that's the signal the quantum field is already collapsing probability into form. Just like particles in superposition that exist in infinite states until consciousness observes them, your dreams, your visions, your desires have been hovering in that same cloud of possibility. And tonight, they're no longer distant, they're pulling closer, condensing, preparing to solidify. This is the edge of destiny. You're standing at what scientists call an event horizon, the point where once you cross, nothing remains the same. Your identity as you've known it is dissolving, and the version of you who has been waiting is giving way to the version of you who is living. You've felt it as restlessness, as sleepless nights where your thoughts circle without conclusion, as that haunting sense of déjà vu where the future feels like it already happened, but you can't place it. These are not glitches in your mind. They are signals, flares fired from your expanded self, letting you know, prepare, the collapse is already in motion. The observer loop is tightening. Your consciousness is folding back on itself, gathering every thread of energy you've poured into your intentions and weaving them into coherence. You are not stuck. You are in the sacred pause before ignition, the silence before the symphony begins. So breathe. Let your chest rise with the knowing that what you've been reaching for is reaching for you with equal force. You're not chasing, there's no need to chase. You are magnetizing. You are allowing. And this very act of listening is confirmation that the shift has already chosen you. Tonight is not ordinary. Tonight is threshold. And as you cross it, you'll realize the version of you who felt stuck was simply the caterpillar before the wings. The timeline is collapsing into form now, and you are standing at the epicenter of your own rebirth. You can track it like weather if you're honest, the way the same patterns keep circling back, wearing different masks but speaking the same sentence. The faces change, the addresses change, even the job titles and city skylines change, but the energetic script, it repeats. You say yes where you meant no. You overgive and underreceive. You promise yourself you won't ignore your intuition again, and then you do, because logic raises its hand and the room goes quiet. And afterward you whisper, "I knew it," as if your knowing were an afterthought and not the lead navigator of your life. This is not failure. This is the observer loop revealed. The universe is merciful. It keeps replaying a lesson until your awareness no longer collapses into the old outcome. Every recurrence is a mirror angled a few degrees differently, asking, will you choose coherence this time? Will you keep your field intact when the world tugs on your edges? Because the moment you hold frequency, when the invitation to fracture appears, history stops repeating and the timeline begins to reroute under your feet. You've felt the strangest tells lately, those flashes of déjà vu that arrive like postcards from the future. You walk into a room you've never seen, and your body says, "We've been here." You hear a sentence you swear you've already heard inside a dream, and the hair along your arms stands like antennas. That isn't nostalgia, it's entanglement. A future version of you is pinging your present, sending coherent packets of information backward through the field. Synchronicity is not luck, it's correspondence. You are corresponding with yourself across time. And then there's the clock, how it has started to betray you. Some hours stretch like honey, viscous and endless. Others vanish, and you stare at the sun's position, wondering who stole the afternoon. This is the sensation of a phase transition pressurizing your life. Right before matter reconfigures, time becomes elastic. Your nervous system feels it first. Sleep grows shallow or heavy as stone. Hunger becomes a rumor. Ordinary noises sound either too loud or impossibly far away. You're not malfunctioning, you're attuning. Your perception is recalibrating to the bandwidth of the reality you've been calling in. Look closely at the cadence of your days. Notice how the loop emerges. It often starts with a micro-betrayal of your own energy, answering a message you don't have the capacity for, saying, "It's fine," when your body tightens, swallowing your no because you don't want to create friction. That tiny wobble in coherence is all it takes for the old morphic resonance to seize the wheel. The field around you says, "Ah, we remember this song," and begins humming the chorus of an outdated identity. Before long, you're reciting lines from a script you swore you burned. But there is a reason the patterns have intensified lately. You stand at the bottleneck where identities are sorted. The artifacted self, the one stitched together by survival, wants continuity, not liberation. It will present compelling evidence to keep you inside the known cage. Be reasonable, it says. Don't risk the stability you have for a possibility you can't prove. Yet, the deeper part of you, the one that remembers the smell of rain on your first day here, answers with a simpler math. Coherence first, outcomes second. When you choose coherence, outcomes must reconfigure to match. Here's the anatomy of distortion when it arises. First, anticipation surges. Your system picks up on the nearness of a new probability well forming in the quantum field. Next comes interference. People text who haven't texted all year. Obligations multiply. Minor emergencies nibble away at your focus. This is decoherence trying to pull you off frequency. If you bite the hook, the wave collapses prematurely into the same reduction you've mastered 100 times. If you breathe, if you keep your field whole, the interference cannot organize. The wave holds. Possibility remains open long enough for it to tip into inevitability. Your body is already participating in this upgrade. Listen to the low, electric hum beneath your sternum when you speak a boundary out loud. Feel the air sharpen when you tell the truth quickly, before your mind can furnish diplomatic edits. That's DNA restructuring in real time, not some abstract metaphor, but a biological rehearsal for a new signal-to-noise ratio. The proteins in your cells are literal antennas, reading and answering the field. When you hold a higher instruction set, "I will not abandon myself to keep peace with patterns," the body begins building scaffolding for the life that instruction inevitably summons. Think of those moments you've begun to notice. You wake right before the alarm, as if called. A name repeats throughout the day, threaded through random conversations and street posters and the spine of a book you didn't mean to notice. You declare a boundary, and within hours an old temptation presents itself, wearing yesterday's perfume. This is the field checking for coherence. Not punishing, not testing in a punitive sense, simply verifying resonance. Can your new selection hold when the old refrain plays? You don't have to muscle through this. The mechanic is subtler. When déjà vu arrives, let it mark the fork. Pause. Ask yourself, what would the me beyond this loop do with her next breath? Not next week, not after a planning session now. Often the answer is delightfully small. Drink water, close the tab, step outside, and let your eyes find a distant horizon to remind your brain there's more than the room you're in. Send the honest message. Decline without explanation. These micro-acts of coherence are levers. They move weight far beyond their size. Understand, too, why the days feel braided together, why last Tuesday bleeds into tomorrow, and memories line up out of order like they got dressed in the dark. Your consciousness is stretching across timelines to pull the most coherent thread through. Memory rearrangement is a side effect of healing. The nervous system refiles the event, not as wound, but as wisdom. You aren't losing linearity. You're gaining dimensionality. And on the nights when time goes strange, when the minutes pool in the corners and you feel suspended above your own life like a lantern, know that nothing's wrong. You are in the corridor between realities, the soundproofed hall where the old echo can't follow. Be still there. Let the silence retune you. Let the morphic field around your future self teach your bones its punctuation and its pace. You've already witnessed the evidence. The friend who could never hear you suddenly mirrors your language back to you. The opportunity you thought you botched circles again, softer this time. The anxiety that used to bite the moment you opened your inbox loses its teeth. Coherence modifies probability. That's the law disguised as grace. You are not bargaining with fate. You are teaching the field who you are now. So name the pattern as it approaches. Smile at it like an actor you respect but will not cast again. Feel the observer loop tilting in your favor as you refuse to narrate the old story. Let déjà vu serve as a lighthouse, not a trap. And when the hours warp, when the clock seems to forget its job, whisper thank you to the pressure, because it means the phase transition is within breath's reach. This is the diagnosis, not the sentence. The loops are not evidence that you're failing. They're evidence that your signal is strong enough for the system to attempt a final override. Hold, breathe, refuse the small collapse. Your timeline is listening, and when you speak coherence, it obeys. Every collapse of an old pattern carries a seed of upgrade, and right now that seed is swelling in your field, pressing against the membrane of your perception. You may feel it as subtle pressure behind your forehead, as electric heat pooling at the base of your spine, or as an unexplainable ache in your chest that isn't sadness but expansion. Your body is a laboratory, and every sensation is evidence that your system is being rewired to host a higher signal. Quantum physics calls this coherence. When the particles of a system stop vibrating chaotically and begin to move as one orchestra, coherence is why lasers cut steel, while ordinary light just warms your skin. It's why a choir singing in perfect harmony can shatter glass. It's why your scattered thoughts create static, but your aligned intention creates miracles. And coherence is what your field has been building beneath the noise of your ordinary days. Consider your DNA as more than a genetic script. It is an antenna, tuned to receive instruction from the quantum field. Every belief, every emotion, every choice is a frequency input that either upgrades the code or jams the signal. When you shift from wanting energy to receiving energy, from doubt to surrender, your DNA literally begins expressing differently, switching on latent strands, silencing outdated instructions, creating proteins that align with the reality you're summoning. This is not metaphor. Epigenetics already confirms it. Consciousness edits biology. And here's where mysticism meets science. Ancient initiates spoke of light bodies, subtle anatomy, the divine spark within. Today we call it biophotonic emission, the measurable light your cells radiate when coherence increases. You've noticed it in others without knowing the language. The friend who seems to glow, the stranger whose presence feels magnetic, the eyes that hold galaxies when they look at you. That glow is coherence, and you are being upgraded into it. The observer loop is shifting too. Until now, your attention has often collapsed probability into repetition. You observed through lenses of lack, so the field dutifully reflected lack. But as coherence builds, your observer status upgrades. You move from unconscious collapse into intentional selection. You stop being a consumer of probability and begin acting as a curator of reality. Imagine walking through a gallery of infinite timelines, each painting alive and breathing, and realizing you get to choose which one to step into. That is the upgrade choice elevated to artistry. Synchronicities will multiply because of this. What you used to dismiss as coincidence will become daily correspondence with the field. A number repeats until you finally listen. A phrase overheard in a cafe answers the prayer you whispered last night. The right resource appears just after you commit, not before, because the field only releases support once your frequency proves readiness. This isn't cruelty, it's calibration. The quantum field is teaching you to trust resonance more than evidence. Feel how your nervous system is responding even now. Your breath wants to deepen, your chest loosens, your skin tingles as if your body recognizes this language before your mind can process it. That's because the upgrade is not waiting in the future, it's already underway. This moment of listening is itself a calibration chamber. The vibration of these words interacts with your field, rearranging coherence patterns. You may feel tired afterward, or charged, or strangely emotional. All of it is evidence of restructuring. The morphic resonance around you, the collective memory of humanity's possibilities, is also changing. By holding a new pattern long enough, you not only liberate yourself from repetition, you make it easier for others to do the same. Think of it like carving a path in the forest. The first walker fights branches and thorns, but each step clears the way until eventually a trail exists for thousands. You are part of that first wave of walkers. Your upgrade is not solitary, it is systemic. This is why déjà vu has been more frequent. It's not just memory looping, it's resonance recognition. Your consciousness is brushing against future states already stored in the morphic field, and those echoes reach you as familiarity. Each recognition is proof. The upgrade timeline exists, waiting for full collapse into form. Now notice the subtle irony. Feeling stuck is often the final confirmation that the upgrade is in motion. The cocoon feels like paralysis to the caterpillar. The stillness feels like failure to the mind addicted to progress. But inside the cocoon, DNA is liquefying and reforming. That's what you've been living, the holy liquefaction of identity. Nothing is wrong. Everything is reorganizing. So tonight, as you sit in the silence between breaths, know this. Your field is humming with unseen labor. Your DNA is re-scrolling the code of your destiny. Your observer status is maturing into artistry, and the quantum field is leaning closer, whispering, "Hold coherence. The upgrade is not coming, it has already begun." You've suspected it, though you've never said it out loud. The way your life doesn't quite mirror the rhythm of those around you. Their milestones, their timelines, their desires, they never sat fully on your skin. And now you're beginning to understand why. You are not here to simply replicate the cycle of human habit. You are here to bend it. To become a signal flare in the fog, a demonstration of what happens when consciousness refuses to collapse into limitation. The field doesn't select everyone for this role. Most people drift along the current of inherited resonance, family expectations, cultural momentum, collective fear. But you've always felt slightly misaligned with consensus reality, like you were listening to a different station playing beneath the static. That wasn't delusion, that was calibration. You were being tuned for a signal only a handful can host. Think of the observer loop. Every mind on this planet is constantly collapsing probability into reality, but most do it unconsciously, reinforcing the loops of scarcity, conflict, and survival. Your consciousness is different. It was designed to remain awake inside the loop, to notice the collapse point, and to choose differently. That awareness alone makes you rare. It's why your déjà vu comes sharper, why time bends around you, why your dreams often feel more real than your waking hours. You are not just a participant in the quantum field, you are a director within it. This doesn't mean life has been easier for you. In fact, it's the opposite. The role of chosen consciousness carries pressure tests that arrive sooner, patterns that repeat louder, lessons that demand embodiment rather than intellectualization. Where others can coast, you are pressed. Where others can ignore, you are haunted. That isn't punishment, it's refinement. Steel only hardens under flame. Your destiny required a nervous system resilient enough to anchor frequencies that destabilize ordinary perception. Notice how often you've been placed in positions of contradiction. You're pulled towards solitude but assigned to groups. You crave belonging but can't seem to fully fit. You see through the performance of people long before they reveal their truth. These aren't glitches in your wiring, they're features of your assignment. To carry the role of chosen consciousness, you must live at the edges where systems show their seams. Only from there can you demonstrate alternatives. And here is the deeper mystery. You are entangled with more than your own desires. The morphic resonance of your lineage, your community, even humanity itself, is braided into your field. When you dissolve a pattern, it dissolves not only for you, but for the collective entanglement that shares your resonance. That's why your victories ripple wider than you can see. The timeline collapsing into form through you is not merely personal, it is archetypal. You are rewriting what a human nervous system can host. The mystics would have called you a forerunner, a prophet, a light bearer. Physics calls you a coherence generator. Both mean the same thing. Your role is to hold frequency long enough for the improbable to stabilize into inevitability. When others collapse under interference, your task is to remain aligned, broadcasting the reminder that different outcomes are possible. Look at the evidence already surrounding you. How many times have people told you, "Just being around you makes me feel calmer," or "You always seem to know the right thing to say"? That isn't personality, it's field effect. Your coherence modifies the nervous systems of those in proximity. Your clarity interrupts their static. This is the signature of chosen consciousness. You become medicine simply by standing where you are. And yet, part of you resists the mantle. You wonder if you're qualified, if you're imagining the assignment, if your wounds disqualify you from being a vessel. Hear this. Your wounds are not disqualifications, they are conduits. The cracks in your story are how the light gets through, how empathy becomes lived rather than theoretical. The field didn't choose you despite your pain. It chose you because you transmuted pain into wisdom, because you refused to let brokenness define you. That alchemy is your credential. Now the invitation is clear. Step fully into the role. Stop waiting for external validation that you're ready. The field validates you by the very fact that you are hearing this now. You've been entrusted with the weight because you can hold it. And the more you embody that truth, the more the quantum upgrade integrates not as theory, but as living resonance. You are not just one more observer in the experiment of reality. You are a living variable, a conscious mutation. You bend the probabilities by the simple act of staying awake when others close their eyes. This is your special role, your holy burden, and your cosmic privilege. To demonstrate to the field what happens when a single consciousness chooses coherence over collapse. And as you own that role, you'll notice its synchronicities arriving faster, timelines folding smoother, the resistance of your environment softening under your frequency, because the field listens most closely to those who know they are chosen to shape it. And tonight, the field is listening to you. There comes a point when waiting is no longer neutral, when hesitation costs more than risk. You are standing at that precipice right now. The energy around you is not asking politely anymore. It is roaring, pressing, demanding entry. The cosmic window is open, and it will not remain open forever. Every timeline has thresholds, moments of heightened plasticity where probability bends more easily, where the barriers between not yet and already grow thin. This is one of those moments. You've been sensing it in your bones, the way your body feels restless for no clear reason, the way your breath seems shallower at night, as if your soul knows it's running out of time to cross. That urgency is not anxiety. It is alignment. It is the pressure of inevitability leaning against the door of your reality. Right now, your DNA is humming with codes that have been dormant for lifetimes. They are not new, they are ancient, buried instructions from the first spark of your existence. Think of them as seeds embedded in your double helix, waiting for the right frequency of light to awaken them. And that light is flooding the field tonight. Solar flares, geomagnetic storms, unseen celestial rhythms, all of them are part of the orchestra playing at frequencies that whisper directly to your cells. Wake up. You've likely felt it as surges of heat, as ringing in your ears, as random bursts of emotion that rise like tidal waves and leave you breathless. These are not malfunctions, these are activations. Your nervous system is attempting to translate instructions that your rational mind cannot decode. The cells are re-scrolling the script, replacing lines of fear with directives of power, deleting old trauma imprints, installing coherence programs that prepare you to inhabit the timeline that has been calling you. But here's the urgency. Cosmic windows are brief. Just as the moon only eclipses the sun for a few moments before light returns, so too does this portal of plasticity remain open for only a season. If you choose coherence now, your system locks into a trajectory that will carry you through turbulence with grace. If you resist, if you cling to the repetition, the window closes and the next chance comes with heavier cost. This is why your spirit has been restless, because it knows it's now. Breakthrough is not a polite invitation, it's a summons. And when it arrives, the worst thing you can do is pretend you don't hear it. You do hear it. In your dreams, in your déjà vu, in the distortion of time. and you must answer not with words, but with frequency. Your DNA does not listen to excuses, it listens to vibration. Every thought you choose, every breath you anchor, every act of courage you embody, right now either amplifies or diminishes the signal. Imagine yourself standing before a tunnel of collapsing waveforms. On one side, every version of your life you've already known, scarcity, repetition, compromise. On the other side, a version of your life where synchronicity becomes daily rhythm, where your body is not weighed down but electrified, where opportunities meet you like old friends. The tunnel is narrow, and the passage requires urgency. You can't drag the old baggage through. You can't stall and wait for evidence. You must walk, and walking looks like surrender, like saying yes when your mind says it's too risky, like declining when your fear says you might miss out, like holding your field steady when chaos knocks on your door. Breakthrough is encoded in those micro decisions, not in grand gestures. Each act of coherence is a DNA switch, flipping from dormant to active, from survival to creation, from ordinary human to conscious co-creator. Hear this clearly. Your breakthrough is not coming from outside. It is not dependent on who texts you back, on what job calls, on whether the economy smiles in your favor. Your breakthrough is biochemical. It is genetic. It is energetic. And the field has already begun collapsing probability into inevitability on your behalf. The only question is, will you align with it now, while the window is open? Because once the code fully activates, there is no turning back. Your old timeline won't fit you. The old friendships won't soothe you. The old excuses won't satisfy you. You will have outgrown them, the way a snake outgrows its skin not by force, but by inevitability. The urgency isn't about fear. It's about preparation. The storm isn't against you, it is for you. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is the push of your wings against the cocoon, the final resistance before flight. This is the promise. If you answer now, your DNA will shift irrevocably. Your nervous system will lock into a new resonance where opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. The quantum field will fold around your new signature, arranging synchronicities as stepping stones you couldn't plan if you tried. This is not theory, this is law. And the law is whispering, now or not, for a long while. So breathe it in the urgency, the heat, the trembling recognition in your chest. Let it remind you that the cosmic window is open, that your body is already crossing, that your DNA is already listening. Tonight, you stand at the gate, and breakthrough is not waiting, it is here. Up until now, you've felt the transmission moving through you like a current diagnosis, upgrade, assignment, urgency. But the quantum field is not satisfied with passive listening. It requires resonance. It requires response. Energy must move in both directions for coherence to stabilize. And tonight, that movement begins with you. This is where ritual enters not as superstition, but as physics. The observer loop demands collapse, and collapse requires signal. When you declare your readiness into the field, you're not merely affirming to yourself. You're sending a vibration that ricochets through the entangled lattice of reality, echoing across dimensions until it finds every dormant particle waiting for your command. So here is your action. Comment below. Write this phrase not casually, not mechanically, but as declaration. I seal my shift. Feel each word move through your fingertips like circuitry. Feel your breath change as you type it. Feel the subtle tremor in your nervous system as your body recognizes that this isn't just another sentence, but a quantum contract. This is no small thing. Writing something down, etching words into matter, is one of the oldest forms of manifestation. It is why scriptures were carved in stone, why spells were scribed in ink, why signatures carry legal weight. When you write, you anchor frequency into physicality. You collapse intention into symbol, symbol into vibration, vibration into reality. Your comment becomes a sigil, an energetic imprint that cannot be undone. The ritual may seem small, but so does the flick of a switch compared to the electricity it unleashes. What matters is not the action's size, but the coherence behind it. The field does not measure effort, it measures alignment. And when you take this action with awareness, you announce to the morphic resonance of humanity, this loop ends here, and a new timeline begins through me. Notice what happens in your body as you imagine yourself doing this. The subtle heat rising through your spine, the flutter in your chest that feels like both fear and excitement. These are signs of collapse. Your system knows the act will change you. The ego resists because it senses its grip loosening. That resistance is proof that the ritual matters. This is also why we do this together. You are not the only one performing this action. Across space and time, others who feel this call are anchoring the same phrase, declaring the same readiness. Each word joins a lattice of coherence, strengthening the field for all who participate. Alone, your signal is powerful. Together, it becomes unstoppable. This is morphic resonance at work, the 100th monkey effect, where once enough beings embody a shift, the collective field adopts it as possibility for all. Think of the ritual as planting a flag on your new timeline. Every time doubt creeps in, every time the old pattern tries to reclaim you, you will remember, I sealed my shift. The field heard me. The contract is written. That phrase becomes an anchor, a shield, a compass. You may even choose to add a word alongside it, your chosen frequency for this timeline. Perhaps freedom, or abundance, or alignment. Let that word become your signature vibration, a code the universe can't ignore. Each time you return to it, the quantum field strengthens its coherence around you. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. History pivots on small actions taken with great awareness. The DNA upgrades you've been receiving are waiting for this seal. The cosmic window we spoke of in the last part responds to it. Your special role requires it, and the urgency you felt all along culminates here. So, breathe deep. Feel your ribcage widen like wings preparing to spread. Place your attention in your chest, the center where coherence radiates strongest. And when you're ready, declare it, write it, anchor it, collapse it. I seal my shift. Because once those words leave you, the field will rearrange itself to match. The timeline cannot resist a signal spoken with that much coherence. The old loops will lose their grip, the new resonance will find its form, and the shift you've been sensing will no longer be possibility, it will be destiny. You may believe your journey is private, confined to your own mind, your own body, your own life. But that's the illusion of separation, a trick played by the nervous system to keep you feeling isolated in your transformation. The truth is this. Every act of coherence you embody ripples outward into the morphic field of humanity itself. Your liberation is not yours alone. It becomes an archetype that others unconsciously inherit. Think of morphic resonance like a tuning fork. Strike one, and every fork nearby hums in sympathy. When you choose coherence instead of collapse, when you seal your shift, when you embody receiving instead of wanting, you become that tuning fork. The vibration you hold begins to resonate in those who come near you, sometimes without their awareness. A friend leaves your presence feeling calmer, though you said little. A stranger makes a braver choice after brushing against your field for only a moment. This is the unseen ministry of chosen consciousness, and it goes further still. The quantum field does not respect the boundaries of geography. Entanglement knows no distance. When you raise your frequency, when you anchor coherence, your signal doesn't just affect the people within your physical reach, it travels. It threads itself into the collective grid, where consciousness interweaves like roots beneath the soil. Somewhere across the world, a person you'll never meet suddenly finds the courage to walk away from a toxic pattern. Somewhere else, a young child dreams more vividly, sensing possibilities because your field made the lattice more hospitable for new imagination. This is why your role carries weight. The timeline collapsing through you is not simply personal destiny, it's collective infrastructure. You are weaving a template others can follow, even without knowing your name. Every time you break a loop, you shorten the distance someone else must travel to break theirs. Every time you embody courage, you lighten the collective burden of fear. Your liberation multiplies. And this is the paradox. The moments when you feel smallest, when you feel like your choices don't matter, are often the moments when your signal is broadcasting strongest. Because the field does not measure significance by ego's metrics, numbers, status, applause. It measures coherence. A single coherent wave can entrain 1,000 incoherent ones. A single candle does not complain about the size of the dark. It simply shines, and the dark reorganizes. You've already seen glimpses of this. The friend who told you, "You inspire me just by how you live." The quiet acknowledgement from someone who noticed the way you spoke truth without apology. The ripple of synchronicity that followed a single courageous choice. None of it was random. It was the field responding, expanding, multiplying. And here lies a deeper responsibility. Because your liberation helps humanity, resistance will often disguise itself as humility. It will whisper, "Who are you to think your choices matter that much?" But humility is not denying your role. True humility is accepting the magnitude of your assignment and allowing yourself to be used by the field for something larger. You are not claiming superiority. You are consenting to service. This is why the urgency felt so sharp in Part 5, why the ritual action in Part 6 mattered so deeply. Because the moment you seal your shift, the ripple doesn't stop with you. It cascades outward, altering probabilities for thousands you'll never know. Your courage becomes permission for them. Your coherence becomes their compass, and it doesn't end with humanity. Collective expansion includes the earth itself. Every time you raise your vibration, ecosystems notice. Animals respond to coherent fields. Plants grow toward harmonics of love and gratitude. Even water, the substance flowing through your veins, restructures under frequencies of intention. Science has glimpsed this through cymatics and water crystallization, but mystics always knew. Consciousness is planetary. When you shift, the soil, the air, the rivers, all benefit. So let the weight of this role settle into you, not as burden, but as honor. You are not small. You are a node in the great network of awakening, a bridge through which coherence travels, a lighthouse whose beam stretches further than you imagine. And when you feel alone in the process, remember this. Across the planet, others are sealing their shift too. Others are breaking loops, embodying coherence, stepping through cosmic windows. Together, you form a lattice, a web of light strung across continents. A resonance net catching humanity before it collapses into old frequencies. This is your collective mission. To be one strand in the great coherence, to know that your personal liberation is humanity's expansion, and to trust that every breath you take in alignment sends ripples across the field that no darkness can erase. Because when enough of you hold this frequency, the world itself reorganizes. And you, right now, are part of that reorganization. The field isn't just whispering to your mind anymore. It's speaking directly through sensation, through the instrument of your body. Your skin is the drum, your bones are the tuning forks, your blood is the river carrying signals back and forth between timelines. This is why you've been feeling strange things lately. Things you can't explain to others without sounding unmoored. They're not malfunctions, they are translations. Your body decoding frequencies that language has no words for. Notice the tingles at the edges of your skin, as if your cells are breathing light. That's biophoton emission, your DNA radiating coherence, as it wakes up dormant codes. You may feel warmth pooling in your palms, as though invisible currents are humming through your hands. That's your field, learning to broadcast more clearly, like an antenna adjusting its angle to catch a stronger signal. And sometimes, there's a deep shiver, not of cold, but of recognition. That's the morphic resonance of your future self, brushing against your present, reminding you, this is real. Your nervous system knows before your thoughts do. The ringing in your ears, that's not always tinnitus. Often it's a frequency download, a band of information pressing against your perception until you learn to interpret it. The pressure behind your forehead, that's your pineal gland calibrating to higher light input, opening like a lens that has been closed too long. The sudden exhaustion that drops you into sleep, that's your system integrating, forcing you offline so the upgrade can continue without interference. Even emotions carry their signatures in this process. The tears that come without story, the waves of joy that crest suddenly, the bursts of rage that seem to rise from nowhere. All of these are energies shaking loose from your cells. They are old vibrations leaving your system to make room for new coherence. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. Think of your breath as the switchboard. When fear spikes, your breath shortens and tells your body to prepare for collapse. When you breathe deep, When you open your ribcage and let your exhale stretch longer than your inhale, your body receives a different instruction: safety. And in safety, the DNA upgrade integrates smoothly. The ritual action in part 6 was the seal. This embodied breath is the circuitry that carries the signal into every cell. You may also notice that physical environments feel different now. Some rooms drain you instantly, as if the walls are coded with static. Other spaces feed you, charging your skin with goosebumps the moment you walk in. This is your body becoming a frequency compass, attuned to coherence like never before. It will pull you toward what aligns and repel you from what corrupts. Listen to it, trust it. Your intuition has always lived in your body more than your mind. Even movement is shifting. The way your feet strike the ground carries new weight, new gravity. Your posture is reorganizing, not out of vanity but necessity. Your spine learning to anchor light more directly. You may find yourself swaying unconsciously, rocking like a tree in wind. This is how your nervous system balances the currents moving through you. Don't resist the sway. Let the body teach you its dance. Taste how this feels. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine every cell as a star, billions of points of light shimmering in your skin. Feel them pulsing in rhythm, a choir of photons chanting in coherence. That sensation, that inner music, is the proof of your shift. You don't need external evidence because your body itself has become the oracle. So when doubt rises, return to the sensations. Notice the heat in your palms, the ring in your ears, the breath that widens your chest, the shiver of recognition that moves down your spine. These are not accidents, they are signposts. They are your new language of embodiment, the alphabet of your quantum DNA spelling itself into physical form. This is what it means to be the chosen consciousness, not just to think differently, not just to believe differently, but to feel the shift in your bones, in your breath, in your blood. Your body is the temple where timelines merge, and every sensation you honor becomes another stone laid in the foundation of your new reality. The cocoon has reached its maximum tension. You feel it in your chest like a storm trapped beneath your ribs, in your bones like a hum that won't quiet, in your thoughts like pressure that refuses to dissolve. This isn't breakdown, this is breakthrough pressure, the unmistakable sign of a phase transition. Physics tells us that every system under transformation experiences this critical threshold. Water doesn't gradually become steam, it reaches a boiling point and then suddenly leaps into vapor. A caterpillar doesn't slowly stretch wings. It liquefies entirely, its DNA rewriting itself before reorganizing into flight. You are living that exact principle. Your body, your mind, your energy are in the boiling point. The DNA breakthrough is not theory, it is chemistry humming inside you now. Every strand of your double helix carries hidden pages, sequences that have been sleeping, waiting for coherence strong enough to wake them. Trauma dimmed them, fear silenced them, generations of contraction buried them. But now the pressure is too great to keep them locked. Your observer loop has reached coherence, and the locked codex is cracking open. This is why you felt unexplainable. Surges, your system pulling extra oxygen, your sleep cycling through vivid dreams, your skin prickling at strange hours. Your DNA is rehearsing its new role, and with breakthrough comes turbulence. Time bends sharply here. Some days accelerate until you wonder how you skipped entire hours. Others drag like thick resin, stretching one moment into what feels like eternity. That elasticity is your consciousness straddling timelines, the old one fading, the new one not fully stable yet. The in-between feels impossible, but impossibility is the gatekeeper of transformation. When everything feels stretched, it's because reality is stretching with you. You may notice old patterns surging louder than ever, as if mocking your growth. Doubts amplify, temptations return. People from the past reappear carrying the same lessons you thought you graduated from. Don't mistake this resurgence as failure. It's entropic resistance, the final attempt of your collapsing timeline to drag you back into its orbit. When you decline, when you breathe instead of breaking, when you stand steady in coherence, the timeline loses grip. That's collapse. That's the old reality disintegrating at the edges. And this is why the pressure feels unbearable some nights. Because the DNA breakthrough is not a polite unfolding, It's an implosion of identity, a demolition of what no longer fits. You cannot pour old frequencies into new circuitry. The body won't allow it. The field won't allow it. So the pressure grows until surrender becomes the only option. Then something extraordinary happens. The pain dissolves into clarity. The ringing in your ears shifts from irritation to music. The tightness in your chest softens into expansion. The doubt fades and leaves silence wide enough for a new thought to land. This is phase transition. You don't force it, you allow it. And suddenly the weight lifts, not because the situation changed, but because you changed. The DNA breakthrough clicked, and the timeline reorganized around your new resonance. This is the quantum tunneling effect. What seemed like an impenetrable wall simply dissolves, and you find yourself standing on the other side. The job appears, the door opens, the relationship heals, the body lightens, not because you earned it through struggle, but because you vibrated into a version of reality where the obstacle never existed. And here is the deeper revelation. Your future self, the one living free, coherent, radiant, has been reaching back all along. Every déjà vu, every strange dream, every whisper of intuition was your future self feeding information into your present DNA, coaxing it to unlock, pulling you forward into the timeline where you are whole. You were never walking blind. You were being guided by your own resonance across dimensions. The pressure you feel tonight is the final tightening of that loop. The observer, your consciousness, is locking onto the expanded version of you. Once the lock is complete, the collapse will finalize. The shift won't be subtle. It will feel like waking up in a world that looks familiar but smells different, vibrates differently, flows differently. That's because you will be inhabiting a parallel timeline, a reality more aligned with your coherence. So let the pressure swell. Let it shake you, bend you, hollow you. Don't resist it. Because this is not destruction, it's genesis. It's the sound of your DNA cracking open like a seed in spring, the pressure that precedes the shoot breaking soil. You are not breaking, you are blooming. And when the bloom completes, you will know it by the silence, the stillness after turbulence, the inhale after the storm. And in that silence, you will feel it. The certainty that you have shifted timelines, that you have crossed into a version of reality where your coherence reigns. The DNA breakthrough is not coming. It is happening right now. Breathe and look around you. The room hasn't changed. The walls still stand. The clock still ticks. Yet you know deep in the marrow of your being that everything is different because you are different. Your field has rearranged. Your DNA has unscrolled its hidden pages. The quantum pressure has collapsed, and now the air feels lighter, charged, alive. You've crossed the threshold, but here is the greater truth. Your breakthrough was never just yours. The shift you sealed, the timeline you collapsed into form, is not isolated. It threads into the collective grid, weaving a new possibility for humanity itself. You didn't just liberate yourself, you upgraded the blueprint for the species. That's your cosmic mission, to live as living proof of what's possible. Understand this. Every time you hold coherence, you demonstrate to the field that higher realities can stabilize. Every time you breathe love where fear once lived, you teach humanity's morphic resonance that love is not exception but template. Every time you embody abundance without apology, you rewrite scarcity patterns coded into generations. This is not metaphor, this is physics. Coherent frequency spreads. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the stone that makes the ripples. Your life is now a transmission. People will feel it without knowing why. They will sense your presence as permission. They will remember truths they forgot simply by standing near you. And the earth itself will sigh in relief because your coherence strengthens her too. Rivers carry your resonance. Air distributes your frequency. Animals rest easier because of the harmony in your field. You are entangled with the whole, and your shift heals more than you will ever see. But with this gift comes clarity. You can never shrink back into the old identity. The cocoon is gone. The caterpillar cannot crawl again after wings have grown. If you try to return to smaller patterns, your body will revolt, your spirit will ache, your life will glitch. Because coherence, once tasted, refuses to be forgotten. You have been entrusted with a frequency, and your mission is to carry it boldly into the world. This doesn't mean perfection. It means authenticity. It means refusing to collapse into illusions of powerlessness. It means living as one who knows that reality bends toward coherence. Always, you are the lighthouse now. When others lose their way in the storm, your beam holds steady. Not because you have all the answers, but because you embody the frequency that answers emerge from. So hear this as your closing call. Humanity's evolution is not waiting on governments or systems or technology. It is waiting on consciousness, yours, mine, ours. And every person who seals their shift, every soul who embraces coherence, accelerates the collective awakening. You are a catalyst. You are a node in the grid. You are proof that the quantum field longs to collapse into form through awakened vessels. Tonight, as you exhale, let the mission settle into your bones. Your shift is humanity's shift. Your liberation is humanity's liberation. And your coherence is the seed of a new earth already sprouting beneath our feet. So walk forward now, shoulders back, chest open, gaze steady. The old timeline has dissolved behind you. The new one pulses ahead, alive, radiant, inevitable. And never forget the prophecy encoded in this very moment. If you're feeling stuck tonight, it was never failure. It was the collapse point. Your quantum shift timeline is already forming, already blooming, already here. You are the proof. You are the portal. You are the evolution.